The story begins by introducing a 9th grader named Mofan after he has taken a senior high school entrance exam. Normally it is not much of a problem for Mofan, however this time it's about magic. He remembers that after obtaining the pendant everything had changed and everything became more about magic in just one night. Everyone discussed how difficult the exam was, but a student named Bai bragged that it was too easy for him, and what is important is the talent they will gain during the magic awakening. Bai's entire family has the ice talent, so it is practically he will as well. Mofan studied for 3 months straight, but the exam covered 9 years worth of material. His father Singh tells him to not worry since he has landed him a job as a driver that pays well. Mofan still wants to be a mage, but his father believes his exam results won't be high enough to meet the entrance requirement. Mofan is determined and convinces his father when he says he will become a versatile mage who will be recognized by everyone. Mofan's friend Zhang talks about Ningxu returning to the town, however Mofan is not interested. As they walk, he saw his father as he kneeled down to a powerful man named Mage to admit Mofan in the school. Mui says that failing the exam was bad enough, but what is worse is that Mofan had once tried to run away with Ningxu. Singh apologizes for that, saying nothing bad had come from it. He explains that he has served the powerful Mu family for many years, and Mofan is determined about becoming a mage. Mu mocks Mofan for failing and saying if Mofan wanted to be a mage, he should study more. Singh says he will do all to help Mofan, and Mu agrees to help if he gives his house to him. That night Mofan gets told the good news, but he knows the truth as his father explains the opposite about renting out the house while Mofan lives at school. His father also reveals that Ningxu has returned, but Mofan says all he cares about now is studying magic to help their family. That night remembers when Ningxu had asked him to leave with her as she would rather be anywhere other than home. After they were found, Singh attempts to take the blame and spare Mofan, who is just a child, from punishment. Majoa, however, says he had seduced and kidnapped Ningxu and threatens to break his legs one by one if he sees her again. Few days have passed. Some students discuss how everyone will be having their magic awakening that day and how they all wish to have fire as their talent, even though it is extremely rare. The teacher gives the students a badge that will change based on their awakening they received. Another student mocks Mofan for only being there because of a favor and laughs at how embarrassing it will be if he can't awaken a talent. Bai is a member of the Mu family and is first to have his awakening. As expected, he receives the ice talent, and the teacher explains that the stars on the badge will show the strength of their talent. In addition, all 7 stars are usually not filled, but Bai started right away with 1 star, meaning he is exceptional. Everyone received their talents and no one else manages to get a single star like Bai. It's Mofan's turn and everyone mock him, explaining that even if you receive the weak talent, you are still better than Mofan. Mofan touches the orb and begged to receive anything at all as it would be better than failing. During his awakening, Mofan sees the color purple but has never heard of a talent corresponding to it. The students become excited, but it's for someone else in a separate class since a person has received a lightning talent, which only happens 1 every 1,000 awakenings and is the most powerful one. Mofan is left all alone in class during his awakening. As the orb changes color, Mofan opens his eyes, surprised to see that his orb has changed. He starts to wonder if he has awakened both fire and lightning. When the bully returns to class, he makes fun of him for still standing there, but is shocked to see that he has awakened the rare fire talent. Mofan can't help but laugh as he knows he has actually awakened 2 rare talents, and how everyone's jaws would drop if they knew he had awakened the lightning talent first. He excitedly plans to hide it for a while and reveal it to them at the perfect time. 2 months later, Mr. Shang explains how there are 7 stars that revolve around each of their star systems. Its movements are random and students must concentrate on controlling them into following strict orbits. If they can manage to do it, then they can do magic release. However, if they lose control of a star, they will have to start over. Bai as to demonstrate and reveals that he is now able to control 5 stars, which also shows on his badge. Bai is the fastest learner among all the students, as the rest have barely managed to control 3 stars. Mr. Sheng reminds them that their progress will depend on both their ability and effort they put in. The class bully once again makes fun of Mo Fan for only having 1 star, assuming that will mean he will fail the end of year exam, even going as far as to mock how his family had to sell their house to get him in the school. The other students are rude as well, claiming they feel better about their own poor results since he is worst of all. However, once he is alone, he explains how true he only has 1 star, but that's just for his fire talent. When he practices his lightning talent, he reveals that he is only 1 star away from completing his magic release. Later, he runs into his little sisters in Xingxia, who seems upset and looks to find the cause. She says to not do anything as they are outnumbered, but Mo Fan doesn't care. The leader in a group says that he will give her wheelchair back if she agrees to be his girlfriend. Then Mo Fan arrives in her defense. The leader explains that Xingxia should be grateful someone is interested in her despite her condition. He added, saying he wouldn't mind carrying his sister around, and Mo Fan can only think about how this has to be the moment where he succeeds. He concentrates on controlling his stars and demands they stop insulting his sister. Mo Fan, for the first time ever, experienced to release a powerful lightning attack. The group now understand that he must be a mage and beg for mercy. Mo Fan returns his sister's wheelchair and is humble about his newfound power. Elsewhere, Bai explains his progress to his uncle. Mu Huho is very pleased to hear about his ability to control 5 stars. Mu explains that Bai's performance at the final exams will be extremely important since the Mu family's heirs will attend and he must make a good impression. When asked about Mo Fan, Bai explains that he is doing terrible as he can't even manage to control 1 star, and Mu explains that he will get Mo Fan kicked out after he fails the exam. That night, Mo Fan thinks about how his father has begun working outside the city with his uncle to pay for his education. However, that is dangerous since monsters surround the city and his father is powerless. He begins to work on progressing his fire talent in the bath, but quickly realizes that is bad idea. Afterwards, Xingxia is pleased to see that her brother has mastered lightning magic, but explains that he managed to do it in only 6 months and wonders if he had help from the Black Vatican. Mo Fan has no idea, and she says that she was taught in class that they are a group that helps people improve cultivation. He explains that he would never do that, and when he is alone admits that he is cultivating faster. He is concerned that others will begin to think he is part of the group as well, and has decided to show his lightning talent when needed. In class, everyone has a funny look on their face because of an attractive woman. Her name is Miss Tang Yiyut. She is the new practical magic teacher, and she asks that all fire talents stand up. The bully mocks Mo Fan for only having 1 star, and Miss Tan gives a demonstration of the level 1 fire magic called Fire Burst. Later, Bai explains to Mui that he doesn't actually believe Mo Fan will fail badly enough to be kicked from the school, since that only happens to students who get lower than a D in the final exam. Mui explains that he has a backup plan. He reveals a dark stone that can absorb magical energy and the light of the crystal ball. The examiner during the test works for him, and he will have him apply the effects of the dark stone on the crystal ball when it is Mo Fan's turn to be tested, ensuring that he will fail. Mui still holds a grudge for Mo Fan's wrongdoings towards the Mu family and promised to make him pay. Elsewhere, Mo Fan practices his fire talent and explains that there is only a month left before the final exam. He has only managed to control 5 stars, which should be okay for the exam, but he would like to perform better in order to impress the Mu family. Time passes quickly, and Mr. Sheng explains how the final exam will be done. The crystal ball will measure their magic powers. The brighter it glows, the more power they possess. They will be given grades based on its brightness, ranging from the best A to the worst D. All those that receive a D will be kicked from the school. Furthermore, since it's impossible for most of them to control all 7 stars in just 1 year, they will not be tested on magic release. However, if anyone is able to do it, then they will be moved to the elite class, where they will receive a star bracelet that assists in progress. At the exam, the head of the Mu family, Muzo, gives the students a speech, and it is explained that Ningshu is an exceptional student that graduated early and now attends a magic college. She is asked to give a demonstration and amazes everyone with her display of power. The students must be told to quiet down as they all discuss how worried they are that they might not do well. However, they are relieved to see that the exam isn't too difficult. After a couple students receive his Jiang is feeling pretty confident, so he asks if he could try his magic release but fails. He is laughed at by his classmates but quickly feels better when he is encouraged by Miss Tang. It is in Bai's turn. He was the class when the crystal ball glows brightly and Mr. Shang gives him an S grade, the only one in the entire school. Of course, he would like to try his magic release as well, and we see that Mage speaks glowingly about him to Muzo. Bai successfully uses his ice magic and is given a B grade for his magic release. Everyone is amazed at what he has managed to accomplish in just 1 year, but Ningshu just thinks he is okay. Muffin is then called up for his turn and Muzo wants to leave as there really isn't much left to see, but Ningshu wants to stay. Muzo agrees to watch as he wants to see what he can do after he and his family have sacrificed everything to get there. Mage gives the signal and the dark stone is put in place. Bai watches and can't wait for him to fail so that Ningshu can finally realize how much of a waste of time he really is. Mofun begins, but of course the light is weak and everyone including his teacher thinks he will receive a D. Musil explains that with a performance like this Mofun is better off just being a driver like his father. Mahe says he has learned nothing and Mofun's father only wasted money paying for the school. However, in that moment Mofun continues and somehow manages to destroy the dark stone, finally allowing his magic to show the crystal ball glows brighter and he is given a B. Everyone thinks it's unfair how the worst student could get a B when a grade like that is exceptional and starts to question if the crystal is faulty. Mr. Sheng is proud of him, but Miss Tang reveals that that wasn't his real ability. She claims the ball is faulty and insists that he be retested. The students all agree and Mr. Shang asks that she rethink her request since it was not easy for Mofan to get into the school. Miss Tang persists and Ningshu agrees with her, asking for a retest as well. After it is replaced, everyone is surprised to see that the crystal ball glows much brighter than before and Mofan is given an S grade. But Mofan explains that he isn't done yet as he wants magic release. Bai is shocked more than anyone but knows that if Mofan spent so much time on controlling the stars it would be impossible for him to have also mastered magic release. However, he cannot do anything as Mofan shows his fire prowess. Mofan receives the highest grade of A for his magic release. The principal of the school recognizes Mofan's hard work and potential, especially considering he is the first mage in his family. This changes Musil's view of Mofan and tells him that he wants to forget his past wrongdoings. Muzu gives him a fire bracelet to help him harness his powers and accepts him into his family. Bai, however, is only told to work harder. Mr. Shang tells Mofan to thank the man, but he refuses to be someone's lapdog to be ordered around and explains he isn't spineless like Bai. Muzo must be told to calm down when Mofan says he will never forget how Muzo treated him and his father, revealing that Sing still has pain in his back from that day 3 years ago. Mu wants him expelled, but the principal is not willing to go that far, so Bai says they should let him beat some respect into him. Muzo would like his adopted son Yuang to fight instead, and the principal gives Mofan another chance to apologize, but the duel is actually what he wants. If he loses he will apologize, but if he wins then Muzo must apologize to his father. The association forbids underage duels, so they must wait 2 years before they can duel. Mofan is informed that Yuang is much stronger than Bai, he must train harder. The next semester we see that Mofan is in the elite class with others that have managed to have their magic release. It is explained that they are given numbers based on their powers and Mofan is the best with number 1. It is then explained that the class has 3 bracelets that they will take turns using. The top 3 students get a month each, but Mofan will only get to use one for 10 days as punishment for his rude behavior towards Muzo. In addition, the bracelets are very precious, and if anyone were to lose or damage them, not only would they be expelled, they would be banned from being a mage. While practicing, Bai explains that there are different levels of bracelets. The one given to the students is able to speed progress by 20%, but one of the spirit bracelets that the Mu family possesses is able to speed up by 40%. It is revealed that Muzo has allowed Yuang to use the bracelet for 6 months earlier in preparation for his duel against Muffin. His pendant keeps reacting whenever he practices, however this time it swallows the bracelet. He begs it to spit the bracelet out just as Miss Tang arrives. She assumes from his behavior that he has lost a bracelet, and he tells her what happened. He explains the pendant is a family heirloom, and True reveals that it is also a magical gear that speeds progress, but it must be fed. Not only does it improve stats, but it can absorb energy and upgrade itself. He thinks about how the thing must be responsible for allowing him to release 2 talents when others couldn't even do one, and wonders if he will be scolded for having it. He tells Miss Tang he can't control it and that she should keep it. However, she explains that it is one of a kind and senses that it has a spiritual bond with Muffin. She asks that he keep it concealed and explains it will only continue to grow if it feeds on spirits and other magical gears. She promises to settle the matter of the missing bracelet, but he will owe her help. Makes Muffin thanks Miss Tang. Few days have passed. The students are taken to a field trip to the edge of the mountain where monsters are kept from entering. Muffin reveals that his fire stardust has been restless and wonders if it is upgrading to level 2. When they arrive, the Chief Kong explains that they will take part in a bounty hunt. As long as 1 out of the 100 students manages to complete the hunt, they will all receive A's. The students are concerned since only mages with several years of experience can do bounty hunts among monsters, and Mr. Shang agrees. However, the Chief Kong doesn't, explaining they are the best school in Magic City and should show it. Muffin only cares about what the prize is for completing the bounty hunt, and it is revealed that they will receive magical armor. Muffin knows that Yuong is part of the wealthy Mu family and will definitely have the best armor, so he can't afford to lose. Once the bounty hunt has begun, allowing them to demonstrate their control over their abilities, they arrive at a cave that had once served as a den for one-eyed wolves. It had been cleared out previously, but the students have been tasked with checking for leftover monsters and finding a lost bracelet outside. It is revealed that the chief has ordered someone to watch over them, and Mr. Shang assumes that there aren't actually any wolves left in the cave. The chief says that the students need the experience. Miss Tang thinks about how Muffin is the most powerful among them since he has been practicing with the pendant, but doubts if he will be able to take on a monster. Some students fear an encounter with a monster, but the class bully explains that they just need to stick around by and he will simply freeze any enemies. Muffin notices that the water in the pond is only half full based on the water line, which is especially odd since it rained after they got there. He must explain to the clueless, saying that something really big inside the cave must have drunk it all, and he goes to warn the others. However, the other students don't care and mock Zhang for looking for an excuse to not go in since he is so afraid. Later on, the group is approached by a one-eyed wolf and by attempt at using magic fails another student to try, but rescued by Muffin. It is revealed that the monster is actually a pet in disguise, and the chief is glad since if it was a real monster they all would have died. He knew they wouldn't be able to defeat the pet and hoped they would have at least been able to release some magic. They are disappointed that no one seems up to the task when they begin to see light from the cave and assume it's the gifted Bai. They are correct as Bai holds the wolf back, and we see that the students can't find the rope they used to get down to the cave. The girl Muffin rescued, named Minzo, confidently returns to the cave and releases the powerful fire attack, which only angers the wolf. The other lightning user in the class manages to paralyze it for a moment, but that doesn't last very long. Bai is useless against it, and Minzo's second attempt fails as well. Muffin arrives realizing that the level 1 attacks of his classmates are ineffective, and he unleashes his most powerful level 2 fire attack. The wolf is engulfed in flames and flee to the pond. The instructors are impressed and relieved to see that someone has mastered a level 2 attack. However, it is revealed that the wolf is no longer responding to their commands. Originally instructed to not hurt the students, but now seems to be out of control. The students do their best to avoid the beast, and Muffin realizes he is the last of the top students to still be capable of fighting. Kong comes to help him, but the two must retreat deep into the cave. Minzo explains that they are at a great disadvantage to deep the cave. Some students are grateful for their bravery, while others say their death shouldn't be in vain, so they should leave. Minzo wants to go in after them just as the chief arrives and is brought up to speed on the situation. Inside, Zhang bravely rescues Muffin from an attack, but is gravely injured. This sends Muffin over the edge, and he finally decides to unleash his lightning magic. His first attack is hardly effective but manages to stun it a bit, and Muffin comes up with a plan. It works just as planned and the monster is finally defeated. An orb merges from its body and enters Moffan's pendant. The chief arrives and is amazed that Moffan had somehow managed to defeat the wolf. He knows that his fire magic wouldn't have killed it, and Muffin explains how he had used the rock to pierce it. He begs that they get Jang some medical assistance, but the chief still can't get over how he killed it, especially considering that the speed and reflexes of the wolf would have been able to dodge the rock easily. He begs that he focus on Jang again, and so they leave. The owner of the pet wolf is furious that the chief killed it, but is shocked along with everyone else when it is revealed that Muffin had done it. The owner refuses to believe that since his pet is even more powerful than normal monsters and could easily have killed even experienced mages, they all still think it had to be the chief, and when asked, Muffin explains how he did it without revealing his use of lightning magic. As the owner cries over his pet, nearby students finally begin to give some credit to Moffan for his bravery and understand now why he is number one in the class. Miss Tang explains to them that if the pet was an actual monster, they would have all been killed, since no one can release magic due to fear. The bounty hunt didn't go as planned, but all the students will still receive an A and Muffin will receive an S. However, another instructor mentions that Moffin not only used level 2 magic but also defeated the wolf, which is deserving of the armor, and everyone agrees. Later, Moffan is received a medal and offered a position working for the chief after he graduates, but he only wanted the armor. Other students are received their reward next, but the chief can't get over how Moffan managed to defeat the wolf and thought that he did not told the whole story.